members are in town. One of them is Eric Lindbergh. The last name should sound familiar. He is the grandson of famous aviator Charles Lindbergh.
We sent our own aviator, Rich Coco, to talk with Lindbergh about his famous grandfather and the connection to Southwest Florida.
Charles Lindbergh made history by being the first person to fly solo and nonstop across the Atlantic in 1927. Grandpa was pretty innovative, and Eric Lindbergh is too.
I'm here as a guest of the Edison Awards. The Lindbergh Foundation got an Edison Award in 2017 for the Air Shepherd program, where we were using drones to stop rhino and elephant poaching in Africa. And we got some of the first beyond visual line of sight permissions to use drones and night flying permissions, and where we flew, the poaching stopped.
The family also has a history here in Southwest Florida.
Fort Myers occupies a great space in my family's history.
Following Charles Lindbergh's flight, he was arguably the most famous person in the world.
Gave my grandparents a respite from the fame that they had, a lot of eyeballs on them, and they would go sailing up into the Everglades and just have this peace and quiet in nature. That was really an extraordinary thing for my grandfather, who was really hounded most of his life.
So they headed to Captiva and stayed there with Jim and Ellie Newton, founders of the Uncommon Friends Foundation. There, Charles became friends with the Edison, Ford, and Firestone families.
My grandfather loved it down here, and my grandmother too. Obviously, they spent time walking on the beaches and finding solitude, and I think that's the gift of the sea that's alive and thriving here in Fort Myers.
While here, Eric's grandmother, Ann Lindbergh, an accomplished author, wrote her most famous book.
So my grandmother stayed on Sanibel and wrote a book called Gift from the Sea. It's really an extraordinary look at their lives and about occupying the space that we're in and loving ourselves.
On the 75th anniversary, Eric duplicated his grandfather's famous flight.
2002, flew from San Diego, where the plane was made, the Spirit of St. Louis, to St. Louis, and then from St. Louis to New York, and then New York to Paris in a modern airplane.
With the 100-year anniversary of the flight just 2 years away, yes, Eric plans to be in the sky again, heading to Paris, alone. But for now, he and all the Edison Award winners are checking out the latest innovations. In Fort Myers, Rich Colco, Wink News.
Eric is still